The late afternoon sun poured its molten gold over the half-finished house, casting long shadows that danced across the wooden beams. The air was warm and fragrant with the scent of fresh-cut timber. Diep stood at the edge of the construction site, her hands clasped tightly in front of her, unable to hide the smile that kept tugging at her lips. She had pictured this moment countless times in the quiet corners of her mind. Yet now that it was here, now that walls had begun to rise from the ground and a roof's outline promised shelter, it felt almost unreal. This wasn't just a house, it was a promise, it was safety, it was a future, and perhaps, it was the beginning of something far greater. The man behind the dream, James, had been there from day one. From the moment he signed the papers for the land, to the delivery of the very first batch of bricks, he had been the steady hand guiding the vision forward. Even when shipments were delayed, or when storms threatened to halt the work, he remained calm, always finding solutions with quiet confidence. To Diep, that calm wasn't just a trait of a skilled CEO. It was the mark of a man who cared deeply, not just about the project, but about her. He walked toward her now, brushing sawdust from his shirt. His smile carried the exhaustion of long hours, but behind it was a warmth that sent a ripple through her chest. "Almost done," he said. "Yes," she replied softly, her eyes sweeping over the sturdy frame. "I still can't believe this is real." "It's real, Diep," James assured her, his gaze steady. "And soon, it'll be yours. To live in, to fill with memories." Her heart skipped. Did he know how much those words meant? For weeks, she had noticed subtle shifts in him, the way his gaze sometimes lingered, the silences where it felt like he was searching for the perfect words. A question had begun to take root in her mind. When the house was finished, would he ask her to stay forever? A home taking shape. They wandered through the skeletal structure together, stepping over planks and scattered tools. James pointed to where the kitchen would be, how the bedroom would capture the first light of dawn, and how the porch would be the perfect place for quiet evenings. As he spoke, she pictured herself there, brewing tea, reading by the window, waiting for him to come home. The workers slowly packed up for the day, and the site grew still. In the amber wash of sunset, James stood beside her, hands in his pockets. His voice was low when he finally spoke. "You've been patient through all of this." "I wanted to give you something that lasts, not just walls and a roof, but a place you can always call your own." Emotion rose in her throat. What he didn't realize was that he had already given her more than she ever dreamed: safety, respect, and the feeling of being truly cherished. The morning that changed everything. A week later, the house stood finished. Fresh paint gleamed under the morning sun. Diep arrived early, her footsteps light on the small stone path James had added at the last moment. A bouquet of white lilies, her favorite, sat on the porch in a simple vase, their scent soft and pure. She reached out to touch them, smiling, when she heard footsteps behind her. James was there, not in his usual work clothes, but in a crisp white shirt, sleeves rolled neatly to the elbow. "You came early," he said gently. "I wanted to see it before anyone else," she replied, turning to take in every detail, the polished windows, the way the light touched the walls. "It's perfect, James." He stepped closer. "Building this wasn't just about giving you a house. Every brick, every beam, it's a piece of what I want our life to be. Strong, steady." Built to last. Her breath caught. From his pocket, he drew a small velvet box. Time seemed to pause, the sound of the breeze in the trees faded. "From the day I met you, I saw someone who carried both strength and gentleness," he said. "Someone who deserved a life far better than the one the past gave her. I don't just want to stand beside you while you build your dreams, too deep. I want to be part of them." He opened the box to reveal a ring, its diamond catching the light like a quiet promise. "Too deep," his voice was steady. "Will you marry me?" Her vision blurred with tears. For a long heartbeat, she could only nod. When she found her voice, it was a whisper. "Yes, James. 1,000 times yes." He slipped the ring onto her finger, his touch warm and sure, then drew her into his arms. A wedding in their own garden. They wed in the garden of their new home, surrounded by wildflowers and the laughter of close friends. Too Deep wore a simple ivory dress, her hair softly gathered. As she walked down the candle-lit path, all she saw was James, his gaze steady, his devotion unshaken. Life after the vows was not without storms. James faced difficult days running his company, and Too Deep battled old fears, the deep-seated worry that happiness could vanish as quickly as it had arrived before. But each evening, they returned to the same porch where he had proposed. They drank tea, traded the small victories of the day, or simply sat in silence. One evening, after a particularly hard day for James, he came home to find the lights low and the table set for two. She had cooked his favorite meal. As they ate, she reached across the table. "You've given me more than I ever dreamed, this house, this life, but most of all, your heart." "I'm here, no matter how hard it gets." He met her gaze and replied quietly, "No matter what happens, you'll never face anything alone." The seasons turn. Spring brought flowers to the garden. Winter brought blankets and whispered conversations under the stars. Too Deep learned that love was less about grand gestures and more about constancy. The way James always reached for her hand, the way he remembered her favorite tea without asking. Years later, children's laughter filled the rooms. The walls bore the scuffs and marks of a life well lived. And sometimes she would stand at the doorway, looking out at the path that had once led her from abandonment to belonging. She would remember the man who built her not just a house, but a place where her heart could rest. When the past came knocking, it was a quiet autumn afternoon when a firm knock sounded at the door. Too Deep, arranging flowers, opened it, and froze. Men. Her ex-husband. Time had weathered him, but the calculating glint in his eyes was unchanged. It's been a long time, he said smoothly. His gaze slid past her into the home. Nice house. You must have married well. Before she could reply, James's voice came from behind her. Too Deep, who is it? James stepped forward, his expression tightening at the sight of men. I just wanted to see how she was doing, Men said, his smile thin. Maybe talk about unfinished business. She has no unfinished business with you, James replied, voice calm but resolute. Whatever you came for, you can leave it at the door. Men's jaw tightened. After a pause, he smirked. We'll see. Then he turned and walked away. That night, on the porch, Too Deep wrapped her hands around a cup of tea. He's not here for a casual visit, she said quietly. I think he might try to ruin what we have. Let him try, James said, taking her hand. He can't destroy what's built on trust. The lesson. Too Deep's story is not just about love, it's about the courage to believe in happiness after life has tried to convince you otherwise. Her journey shows that real love isn't proven in perfect moments, it's tested in storms. And when those storms come, the strongest love doesn't crumble. It stands taller, unshakable. With loyalty, courage, and trust, you can rewrite your story, and choose the ending you deserve.